Welcome, everybody. It's great to be with you again. You may be wondering why you haven't seen me around campus. It's because I've actually been in quarantine. My wife's mother died about 2 weeks ago, and I think it was November 8th, my son Joseph started not to feel too well. And later in that week, he lost his sense of taste and smell, which is kind of a hallmark for COVID. So he went and got tested, and we found out the following Sunday that he was actually positive. And so uh, obviously I'm following our protocol. I'm doing what I've asked you to do. And so I quarantined myself and my family. We've been here and it ends this Sunday. Thank goodness. I know all of you can relate to those that have been quarantined, at least that you're really happy when it's over. So it's almost done, but that's also why you're not seeing, for example, usually you see something around campus behind me. I'm usually somewhere around campus when I record these. So I've had to do this virtually as well. So apologize if the quality isn't as good as it usually is, but this is the best we can do right now. And I just wanted to not let more time go by. I'm sorry that I had to miss doing the update last week. Speaking of COVID, there's been a slight uptick, I should say, over the past week or so. We had 2 traditional students and 1 adult degree student who are now isolating off campus that were positive. And I think there's just 1 traditional student who's isolating on campus in specially designated housing. Obviously, no person testing positive will travel home until the isolation period is completed. But it is hard to believe that it's the end of the semester. Well, not quite the end of the semester, but at least we've reached the last day of in-person classes. I always say it's that paradox of the long and the short. It's some days seem to last forever, and then before you know it, suddenly months have flown by. So I know it's been really challenging for everybody, and I'm sure everybody's looking forward to a little bit of a break. And so it's a great blessing that we have Thanksgiving, coming up. So before I maybe jump to some other things, I want to strongly encourage those that I know the classes have been challenging for some of you, especially in the online format. And so I've encouraged you to do this before. It's still not too late, but if you are challenged by it or having difficulties, please be sure, if you haven't already, speak to your advisor, speak to your professors, and let them know that this format, the online portion that you may be doing is very challenging, and whatever challenges it may have, you need to explain those and at least talk about it. It certainly will help. And I know sometimes it's not a comfortable thing to talk about, but I'm encouraging you to do it. You'll feel much better after you've done it, I'm sure. Athletics continues to go extremely well. Men and women's basketball and wrestling activities have begun, and they'll continue through with a break at Christmas, and then they'll be back in January with everybody else. So we're, like I said before, this is uncharted territory for anybody in the United States of America, where we are literally going to have every sports team that the Abbey has will be competing in January. So looking forward to it, and it's going to be, I think, an adjustment and a time for all of us to figure out how this is going to work going forward. Agora a night, that's where there's poetry readings and sometimes singing, music, and so forth, is just wonderful. I didn't get to talk about it last week, but I didn't want to forget to bring it up now. And I really encourage all of you to attend all of them, but possibly just participate in one maybe, or just at least attend one in the next semester. Because I really believe that no one should graduate from the Abbey without attending at least one. New Residence Hall Certificate of Occupancy, which we've been waiting for a long time, should be in hand by December 15th. So for those that are still around, you've seen a lot of developments. There's finally a sidewalk, there's parking in front, and it's getting close. So we're kind of excited about that. Caramount Health is beginning its site planning for the new hospital. Ground clearing and site prep should begin in the spring. We're also actively working, collaborating with the Diocese of Charlotte. We're actually doing several projects with them and looking to do more in the future. Dr. Greg Monroe is the new superintendent of schools for the Catholic Diocese, and he's just an outstanding individual, and I really enjoy working with him. Strategic planning process is well underway. As you know, because most of you have participated, the entire community has contributed to it, and it has been the work of many individuals who have dedicated hundreds of hours to it. We presented it earlier this week. I had to be virtual, but I presented it to the Board of Trustees Executive Committee on Tuesday. It was very well received, and I'll be presenting it with the rest of the cabinet to the full board. I think it's December 10th. I'll be presenting that to them. They'll review it. Eventually, they'll vote on it by January 22nd, which is the first board meeting of the year. So they'll have sufficient time to review that, give feedback, input, possibly ask for edits or changes to it. But we're getting close to actually having our plan. And I think it's a bold, exciting, far-reaching plan. Don't want to talk too much about it now just because I want to wait till it's actually finished and approved before I get into any real details. Special thanks to everyone who's contributed to it, because it really has been a work of love and an effort, given all the things that have gone on this semester with the pandemic and everything else. It's been challenging to also add that to the pile. And so I really appreciate everybody's work on that. Matter of fact, continuing work, because it's not over yet. The theme teams and others are still very much contributing to it. I want to give an extra special thank you to you and to everybody who have sacrificed, all of your hard work, good work through the semester to keep us open and in person. It's a real example of leadership. Your example has demonstrated what can be done when someone is willing to sacrifice for others. And I will tell you, it really has stood out. Certainly in the field of higher education. If I look at other institutions, I think the Abbey has been exemplary, has been inspiring in terms of what it has done and what it has shown you can do. And that is a tribute to you and our entire community who have come together to make that happen. So well done. I thank you. It's really just extraordinary what you've achieved as we have tried to get through this semester. And finally, I just wish you safe travels as you head home, and hope you and your family have a peaceful and blessed Thanksgiving. As G.K. Chesterton once said, the best kind of giving is Thanksgiving. So be sure to ring the gratitude bell before you leave, and to thank all those in your life for all that you have. And, we often focus on the things that we see as challenges and difficulties, especially with the things that I've mentioned earlier that we've been dealing with this semester. But we should be overwhelmed with gratitude for all that we have in our lives. We are extraordinarily blessed. And so be sure to demonstrate that, show that, and you can count on me ringing the gratitude bell for you. So I hope to see you soon. Hope to see you around campus, not too distant future. But until then, take care and God bless.